Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you guys how I made my track Sweat. It is out now. It's been out since August 2nd, since the summer. So here we go. It's going to be a quick breakdown. Nothing too crazy. I'm just going to go through the tracks like I did with my previous videos from a while ago. And we'll go through the stems, the instruments. Maybe this will be somewhat inspiring for you guys. And you can see how a track like that is made. I'm going to play it now, and you can hear it on Spotify. It's called Sweat. My name is Polychrome. Here's what it sounds like. All right, so that is the main part, the drop. I'm going to start off, I'm going to show you the percussion, the drums, kick, and all the other percussion. Right here, I'm going to solo that. Again, it's a very simple rhythm. There's a lot of elements in there that kind of make it move in a nice way. It's kind of groovy. It's not too fast. It's at 125 BPM. And there's a lot of percussive elements there that I'll break down that just give it, it creates that nice groove. I've talked about this in a couple of videos that I made before. It's very important to do that when you're making a track. It's got to have some kind of momentum to it. You don't want it to just be a dry beat, or you could do just like a dry beat that's like kick, hi-hat, clap, and just go with that. Bassline, you know, a lot of tech house kind of can be very stripped down and simple like that. I guess this, because you could call this tech house, you can call it whatever. I don't care. So we've got a kick, a nice tight kick. I don't do too much. I'll go through the processing, but I won't go too crazy on that. Things like over here, I'll do other videos where I break down the processing a bit more, but this is going to be just like a full run through of the track. I don't want it to be too long. It's going to be like 10 minutes, hopefully, after the edit. I don't do too much processing on the kick anyway, just a bit of EQ here, where I add a little bit. And the EQ and Logic is where I guess I add a little bit there too, but I subtract also. The main thing that I do, again, quickly, is a parallel compressor. Oh, in this case, I don't have it on, so never mind. I sometimes apply a parallel compressor, as you can see here in a bus, just to give it an extra punch at the transient, but I have it off here because there was enough already. This is just for the sidechain probably, or something else. I don't know. Yeah, so we're gonna go. That was the kick. This is sort of like another kick that I'll play them together. You can kind of hear it. It just adds that extra note. It's almost like a ghost note in the kick, so it gives it a bounce. Snare. And of course, we got two more snares. That's another snare and a clap to add to the layers. First hi-hat. I'll go through the rest of the hi-hats. And I believe this was a loop that I cut up. Yeah, sometimes I like to just find a loop, cut it up, throw it in, and not have to design a whole thing from scratch and add a bunch of percussion and cymbals and whatnot. But there's some cool loops that I use there. Yeah, this I think is the most important element in the drums, actually. Listen to that. When I was talking about momentum before, that's what gives it that movement. Bum, 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 bum. So there you go. And I believe there's a couple of other percussive elements here. There's a drum loop here. Some little hits and hi-hats and whatnot. All together. Again, you do whatever you need to do. Like this is like a big stack of percussion. You do that to create a nice groove, and that's like a really nice basis for your track. I mean, this could be a song in itself. There's a lot of music out there that's just basically that. So, but I'd like to do a bit more than that. That's a bit too minimal for me. And I'm going to break down the instruments real quick. Yeah, so it's really simple. I really have a bass line, and then I have another layer that's playing the same bass line, but in a lighter sound. It's a more kind of a mid-frequency sound to bring out to accentuate the bass line more so you can hear it. And there's a few accents here and there that play around throughout the track, and that's about it. This is one of my simplest tracks, and it's like it became one of my most popular tracks of all time, basically. I got the best feedback on it, and it caught on to people, probably because it's so simple and just consistent with its kind of looping method of really quick, catchy vocal too. That's really simple. So the bass elements go like this. That's pretty much it. That's the whole bass line. Some accent notes are added here. This is just like a little hit. Some other accents as well. More kind of a percussive hit that plays at every measure. That's really it. That's the body of the track. That's the body of the drop. And I have some other sounds that come in at the second part of the drop. So that builds up as the drop continues, but really all together, just like you heard before. That's it. Kick, percussion, a bunch of percussion, a few accents here and there, just to kind of keep it interesting, blips and hits and whatever. And that consistent sound there that builds up and builds up. Go listen to the song and you'll see how it builds up more. Yep, that's about it. And then I'm going to show you the vocal now, because the vocal kind of made it what it is. It's very catchy, extremely simple. I wrote the lyrics myself and the top line myself, but it's super, super simple. And that's all you need. That's all you need. Okay, keep things simple, like really simple. This is the vocal.
I just wanna see you sweat and make you wet.
Yeah, I wrote that myself.
I just wanna see you sweat and make you wet.
2 layers, that's it.
I just wanna see you sweat and make you wet.
That's it. And again, all together.
And make you wet. I just wanna see you sweat and make you wet. I just wanna see you sweat.
There's no secret really. That's it. That's the whole track. These are all muted. These are just the unprocessed vocals. And then we're going to jump into the little breakdown here. So it's basically a continuation of kind of this element from the drop continues. As you can hear, I have reverb automation on it, so it kind of just, it washes out, and then there's a really long tail, as you can hear. It's a bit annoying when you're working on it, but and then I added this little chord here just to kind of keep things a little bit interesting. It's literally just, it's really just one chord that bends over here. That is it. Over here, there's a little pattern that plays just for fun. And then we go into the build-up, the second build-up, which is the same as the first one. So we jump right into it. Before I forget, the same chord that I used before, added it back in here. Gave it a little bit of LFO effect, tremolo. Just to keep it a little bit interesting, so it's not just a straight chord. And that was the build-up, quick breakdown of that. I usually like to, I'll jump to the first build-up just to show you how I started things from the beginning. I like to bring in the little, a touch of the bass line in the intro and then in the build-up, just to kind of give you the foreshadowing. Very quiet, you know, but it kind of gets you in that rhythm. And here I have the same accents that play later in the drop. So I like to bring in elements that are going to play in the drop. I put them in the build-up, but in a very subtle way, in a very quiet way, so that you kind of feel what's coming. And then when they do hit in full force in the drop, you know that you've heard them before. So it makes you feel like it gives that feeling of familiarity. So then you feel good, like it's a brain thing, like the way we process music. It's like, oh, I've heard this sound before. Where's it from? Oh, it's from earlier. It's from the same song. So it's a very satisfying thing for the brain, the way your brain works when you're listening to music. And then we've got the classic like snare buildup. Not much to it. A little pitch bender. Typical things, you guys already know these things, maybe some of you don't. I like to add a lot of stuff. There's even a second snare buildup that comes in here. A little noise riser. That's basically it for the build-up. And I like to also tease the vocal as well. Like I said before, I bring it in a subtle way, and then we bring it in full force during the drop. That is the whole song. And I'm telling you guys, this is literally my most successful song, in the sense that the way people responded to it was better than anything I've made before. People were talking about it more than anything I've made before. It's people just liked it. And I think it's because it's simple. Here it is. Percussion, a bass line, a few accents, and the vocal. The vocal is super, super important. If I made this track without the vocal, it would have no character. It would have no distinguishing factor that would catch people, and people would latch onto it. Okay, so that's super, super important. Okay, you can just make a kick, a bass line, and a cool vocal. The vocal, try not to use Splice and services like that. I've used them before in the past and I stopped. I recommend you don't mess with that stuff, because you're going to use a vocal sample that 1,000 other producers are using, and it's going to be all over Spotify, all over the place, and it'll just completely dilute your creativity. Find somebody, find a friend of yours, or find somebody online, like on Fiverr. This is from Fiverr. This is not an ad for Fiverr, but I found a singer and I told them, look, here's a few words, here's the top line, sing it. It cost me like $50. There you go. And now you have an original idea that's yours, and it's not just some sample that you took from Splice that 1,000 other people are using. I strongly recommend that. I use Splice for like kicks and snares and all that stuff, so that's not a big deal, because whatever, a kick is a kick, a snare is a snare. But when you're trying to create something a bit more unique, certain phrases, even if the phrases are overused, but at least you recorded it, at least you wrote it, so you have that, and you can kind of process it in whatever way you want, and you can just call it your own. So that's really the whole song. I can make more in-depth videos about processing if you guys want. Let me know in the comments. Or if you guys like these quick breakdown videos, I'm gonna keep this to like 10 minutes, maybe 12. But this track is really super, super simple. Go listen to it on Spotify. It's called Sweat, and you'll hear what I'm talking about specifically. But for processing, there's a whole lot of stuff that we can talk about later. And I can show you guys instruments and how I made certain sounds, but I wanted this one to be quick. If you want me to do a fuller breakdown on this, I can do that next time. Let me know. And I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope it helped a little bit. Ask me whatever you want in the comments, and I will get back to you. See ya.